Marilyn, CEO and founder of Cosmic Centaurs and the host of Center Stage, a weekly video series where we explore bold ideas about the future of work and learning every Thursday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. UAE time. I'm always lucky to be joined by incredible guests who come on here on LinkedIn Live and share their insights, opinions, and perspectives about how we work and learn. And since we're on the topic of live events, I just wanted to let everybody know that Cosmic Centaurs is co-hosting a webinar with Spangler Fox, a global talent consultancy, on March 11th on organizational resilience. And we'll talk about how to lead during a prolonged crisis. If you're interested in that topic, we will add the link in the comments. Please do register and join us. And one last thing. Just a reminder, give this video a like, feel free to contribute and ask questions. Both Adam and I are very excited to hear your comments and your thoughts on, the future of education and the conversation we'll be having. I'll be looking out for those in the comment section, and I'll make sure to pull them out and have Adam answer a few of them. And today we're hosting a guest, Adam, who I've been really eager to speak to for quite some time. You will notice that Adam is the youngest guest we've ever had on Center Stage, but this is not his greatest accomplishment. Adam is a very special 10-year-old. He's a public speaker, an innovator, a learning enthusiast, and thought leader. He's passionate about reforming the traditional education system and inspiring others to find their voice and make a difference at any age. He strongly believes in decisions being made based on ability, not age, which is his mantra and which we'll be talking about. Adam is one of the youngest TEDx speakers in the world. He's spoken at 14 major conferences like GITEX and Dubai Future Week. He's no stranger to media. He's been featured in several newspapers, TV segments, radio shows, and podcasts. And I'm really, really in awe of him. In fact, he is an Academy alumni, currently the youngest innovator at the Knowledge Society's virtual global program, and he attends both primary and secondary school. I could barely get through one school year, he can do both, which is really incredible. And most importantly, Adam loves following his intellectual curiosity, always finds himself going down one rabbit hole or another and emerging with some great discoveries. And I'm hoping we can share these discoveries today. Hi, Adam. How are you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really excited to have you here. And I know that we have a lot of people in the audience who are so happy to see you with us today. And I'm sure we'll have many interesting questions for you. I was preparing for this episode, and on the one hand, it's just 30 minutes, and there are so many things that I wanted to discuss with you. And you've done some, incredible things over the past few years. But also, I'm just always in awe of your energy, your enthusiasm to accomplish things, and I find you really inspirational. I wake up and say, if Adam can do all of these things, maybe I can, be more positive about my day and get on and do something important today. And so I decided we're going to be talking about both those things. Let's start with your mantra, ability, not age. Tell me about it. Tell me, where did you come up with this mantra, and what was your experience that led you to say that?
Yeah, so first I'll start off by explaining what ability, not age is. And so in essence, it's basically the fact that people should learn based on their ability and capability and what they can do, versus whatever year they happen to be in, or like what age they are, right? And so what led me to discover it was actually when I was applying for a job at Hypixel when I was 8 years old. And so I found out that the minimum age restriction was 16 years old for that particular role. And so I was just like, if I can do this, well, why am I not able to? And that's what led me to come up with it.
Did you end up finding a way to apply?
Actually, yes, I continued forward with my application, although unfortunately it got rejected because of my age.
Yeah, so we still have some people to convince. Tell me about some examples of how you have been able to maybe gain access to more opportunities. I know that you do both primary and secondary, so your school has supported you in that approach. Tell me a little bit about how you are able to apply ability, not age, in your own life.
Yeah, so, well, one example is that I have applied for the Knowledge Society last year, and the Knowledge Society is really cool in essence. It's basically the Olympics for education necessarily, but their minimum age limit was 14. You had to be 14 to get into the program. So I found the email of the co-founder of the Knowledge Society and decided to write him a message for them to interview me fair and square, no favors asked. And if I made it, I made it, which luckily I did. So yeah, there's an example. And as for my school, they have really been very supportive with me. I'm very thankful that they allowed me to even do, primary and secondary school at the same time. And so here's what it has looked like and looks like at the moment. In year 4, I was doing year 10 innovation. In year 5, I was doing year 9 physics, chemistry, and biology. And right now, I'm in year 10 physics, prepping for my GCSEs next year, which I'll be taking. And I'm in also year 9 physics and year 9 chemistry. So yeah, big thanks to the school.
That's pretty incredible. And you're going to be taking a really hard test, right? The GCSEs. Tell me how you feel about tests. I know you shared a story with me about one day where you took a test and it was a special moment. Do you want to share that with me?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to share that. So one day, my mom and my sister were away, and so it was only me and my dad, and we got the days mixed up for my secondary school and accidentally went on a day that we weren't supposed to. And so we walked into the class, and the teacher, he said, the class is taking a test today. You came on the wrong day. Do you want to join in, or do you want to just go do your own thing in primary? And so I said, well, I'm here anyway. Let's do it. And I joined, and using only logic, I got 75% of that test.
That's pretty impressive. I think that's just, going to say that also sometimes you just got to try something. Like you shouldn't set yourself up for failure. You could have said, oh no, I haven't studied. There's no way I'm going to pass this test. But I think part of what is really inspiring about you is you're willing to give it a try, So you talk a lot about reimagining education, starting from this ability, not age. Last week, we had a guest called Helen El Rafey, and what she does is she creates programs for students that are a little bit younger than you, I think starting at 7 or 8 years old. And those programs are meant to help students learn about entrepreneurship and how to build businesses and how to scale it. I was wondering, is that something you wish you could get more of, but also what are some of the other things you wish you could learn?
Yeah, so I think Helen, if you're listening, great job with that. I really think that is the way to go for the future of education. And actually, Academy and TKS are actually doing, so we have a lot of examples of like things that cover different topics. And so like Academy and TKS are like really great. Yeah.
Is there a topic that's your favorite out of those things that you're learning in Academy, for example?
Well, Academy and TKS have both taught me a lot of things, and I can't necessarily pick a favorite, so I'll share a few of them. So there's brain-computer interfaces, there's Ikigai from Academy, there's biomimicry, blockchain, nanotech. Oh my gosh, it's been amazing, even AI.
That's pretty incredible. And everybody's sending us messages about how much they love your t-shirt. I just thought I would let you know. I also, when you first came on, I was like, wait, what's written on there? Do you want to tell everybody how this t-shirt is designed?
So it's spelling out sarcasm with elements of the periodic table. So sulfur,
I think that's pretty awesome.
argon, there's calcium, and there's samarium.
Beautiful. I'm impressed to even know those. I was not like a great chemistry student. I loved physics, but I was really not that great at chemistry. Someone's asking us from the audience. Imad's asking, can you tell us how much of the time you spend kind of learning things on your own versus being taught by teachers, if you had to guess?
Well, I'm very curious. So basically, anytime that I'm at home, I learn something. And in school, I'm taught by teachers, so I learn more things. And I'm just like, yay, learning a lot.
Yeah, I think that's pretty incredible. I always say that. I mean, there's a saying, I think, from Satya Nadella. Like, he says, you shouldn't hire know-it-alls. You should hire learn-it-alls, because the world is changing anyways, really, really fast. And you can never make sure that you know everything you need to know. But what matters is if you're willing to be curious and to go and find the information that you need. So, you're really exemplifying that. Are there some, we've talked about gaining access to content based on your ability and not your age. We've talked about some of the topics that you think are really interesting, that you're, creating a space for you to learn about outside of, the core curriculum at school. Are there other elements of like how we learn and where we learn? I know that when you and I met, we spoke about how gaming can, be integrated in learning. We talked a little bit about Minecraft, and I think that for one of your classes, you used Minecraft to do something really special to replace the way that people get tested, right? Do you want to tell us about that? Definitely.
So there was this one day, there was this one Sunday in particular, I remember that. So on that Sunday, my physics teacher in year 9 asked me to build a Minecraft maze for replacement of the test. It was supposed to have a question at each junction, right? And if you pick the right answer, you could move on. But if you pick the wrong answer, you could be faced with either of these things. You could be trapped in a box with no way of getting out. You could be crossing a bridge that below is lava because, well, Minecraft physics, am I right? And so many different things, and it was really fun for them and myself to do.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine how different it would be to pass a test playing a game versus in front of, that paper or the computer screen with questions that are stressful and in an environment that is different. There's a few questions from the audience. So Raya's asking, what's your favorite way to learn something new?
My favorite way to learn something new is by accidentally stumbling on it. Because there was this one time where I was scrolling through my YouTube recommended and I found out about the brachistochrone curve, which is the fastest way that an object can travel from an elevated point A to point B. And I just randomly found that out, and I was amazed by it. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
That's pretty incredible. Yeah, I think like this kind of learning in an unstructured way is really beautiful, because when you go into a labyrinth of knowledge, you never know, actually. And it's quite telling, the Minecraft story is similar. Like, as you're digging through and walking through this labyrinth, you never know what's around the corner. And I do also find, even for me, that when I learn in that way, I tend to keep the knowledge for longer versus when I'm only trying to find an answer to a question, right? Like, if I'm, because of a client, or I also follow a few classes and someone gave me an assignment or asked me a question, I might Google it and find the answer and be able to answer them very quickly, but I won't remember it for very long. But when I'm stumbling upon things and allowing myself to be amazed and surprised, that's when I find that I will remember the information a little bit more. Nuruddin in the audience is asking a question that maybe is a little bit difficult, but let's see. They ask, what do you think is more difficult, learning or unlearning, and why?
Wow, that is a really good question. And I think that personally for me, unlearning is more difficult because I'm very curious. So just, learning, it comes naturally to me necessarily. So I'm just like, I find this one topic, let's say it's like autonomous vehicles. Whoa, I'm learning about it constantly, right? So unlearning is, I think, really the trickiest part.
Yeah, and I mean, it gets harder with age, trust me. The more you think you know something, the harder it is to think for a minute that you might be wrong, or that there might be new information you need to take in and change your mind about something. Antoinette asks, what do you do in your free time?
What do I do in my free time? Well, if I'm done with all the stuff that I have to do, I make time for socializing and, playing with my friends and, just doing extracurriculars like tennis. And I do golf as well. So I'm really active in my spare time. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you play golf and I was amazed. I tried to play golf once. Maybe I should try again, because once might not have been enough. I just couldn't hit the ball. I guess I don't have very good coordination. Adam, in preparing for this, I listened to a podcast episode on the STEMcast with Latif Al Khalifa, and I think everybody should go and listen to that episode. It was really, really super interesting. And there is something that you said that really struck with me, and I wanted us to talk about it, because I think that when you're born with a certain talent, no matter what that talent is, in your case, you're like a super smart person who can learn really fast. It's very easy to just say, oh, but Adam is like, he's different. He's smart. Everything's easy for him. Oh, he can go pass a test and he can get 75% without having studied. But I also know that you work really hard, and you just said it, right? You said, if I'm done with everything else that I have to do, then I can find time for socializing or playing or golf or tennis. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about how you kind of organize yourself and how you think about that working hard. You're not just born with all this talent, but you've also spent so much time perfecting it and learning new things. So share about that a little bit.
Yeah. So thank you so much for bringing this point up. I feel like I really can't stress this enough, that it's unfortunately a common misconception that people can think that I'm just born smart. Everything comes easy to me, and I don't have to work that hard for it. And I just want to say that those people who think that are wrong. I work so hard to get to where I am right now. And I actually work even harder because of those people. I have to prove myself to them. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point to make. It's funny, when I first heard you say that, I was like, Adam, I feel the same way, I don't have as much talent as you do, but I've also worked very hard. Actually, I always tell this story. When I was a kid, I was like a cute kid. I was blonde. I had green eyes. And in this part of the world, I'm Lebanese. People really love that. They're like, oh my God, she's so cute and you're so beautiful. And I remember my mother would tell me, when I was old enough to understand it, of course, she would say, when people give you comments about how you look, that's not really a comment to you because you were born that way. But if you really want to deserve the comment, if you want people to say good things about you, then you have to work hard at them. You have to work harder at school. You have to be a better human. You have to be kind. Then you really deserve these things. And when you talked about it, I was like, I feel that way too. People sometimes look at other people who maybe are succeeding at something and they think, oh, this just comes easy to them. And the truth is it doesn't. It looks like it's easy because you work so hard to make it look that way, right? And that really struck with me when you said that. And I think another thing that I really want us to talk about too is whether you like it or not, you're really an inspiring person. When I meet you and talk to you, I'm inspired to do more and to push myself. And even now, just reading some of the comments, that people are leaving, Rhea says, Adam's enthusiasm and outlook is contagious, and I know that it's really important for you to also be able to inspire people. What is the best advice that you could give people listening to us today about how they can change the world in the same ways that you're doing it?
Honestly, well, for some people, I'm not saying this is for all people, but for some people, it's a mind switch. And that's actually a really key part of who I am. I have a growth mindset. And what a growth mindset is you believe in yourself, that you can do things if you put your mind to it. So you just have to flip that switch in your mind. It's one thing that I know is not that simple to do, but it really works.
Yeah, I really think that changing the way you look at the world is usually the trick, right? But it's really hard. What do you do on days where you're not feeling the growth mindset? What do you do to remotivate yourself?
To remotivate myself? Well, sometimes I turn to my support network and my family. My family is really amazing at like talking to me and helping me deal with this and remotivate myself so I'd like to thank them for that and all the amazing people.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful thing. And again, an incredible piece of advice. You know, the older you get, the more you think you have to do things on your own and you have to be independent and you can't ask for help. And that's why we have support networks and families and friends so that we can turn to them when we're having a bad day. And so, again, I think a really valuable piece of advice right there. The next thing I want to ask you is a question that, you know, we kind of ask all of our guests, right? And then we can riff off of that is, if I ask you to complete the sentence and tell me why you choose the words that you choose, what would you say? So if I say the future of learning is, what are the words that you would complete it with?
Well, I have two options for that necessarily. The first option is exciting. I'm really excited for the future of education. Like, you know, I'm excited to see what it is, but if I can, I'm also excited to shape what it is. And my second one, the future of education is limitless. There are infinite possibilities of how it can change for the better. So I just like to look at it that way.
I think that's incredible. A few more comments I want you to hear. So Rama is tuning in all the way from LA. I think there's like a 12-hour difference or something. It's probably like really early morning for her right now. And she put that in the comments. And I thought you should know how many people you motivate to come and join you and meet you. Was there anything else that you kind of, as you were thinking about today, you said, oh, I really want to be talking about that when we get on center stage, that you want to share with everybody?
I mean, I just want to tell you all, thanks for tuning in necessarily. It really, I feel that. I'm thankful for, viewing and, helping me along my journey by spreading the word. So just thank you to all of you.
Yeah, I think everybody's also very grateful that you take the time. You know, I could barely get through school without having all these extra responsibilities, right? And I think everybody's grateful that you're also pushing yourself and sticking to that work ethic and showing up for everybody. Rama has a question for you. So Rama is actually the founder of a platform called EdSeed. And what they do is that they help fundraise and get in-kind donations to support students who come from disadvantaged backgrounds and particularly refugees. So people who really have a hard life to begin with, and they help them to gain access to education and get into university, get into schools and be able to sustain themselves and their families. And Rama's asking you, what would you say to the students that she supports? Those kids that aren't as lucky as we are to wake up in a home with a roof over their heads, and they still have to battle it in every day. What would you say to them?
What would I say to them? Well, I would say that just you are you having to put up with all this. That is insane, how you're putting up with this. And I know you're not quite as lucky as us, but with EdSeed, things will change your life. So you'll be able to have an education that you should be looking forward to that when it does implement.
Oh, I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Adam. And I'm sure that Rama, it means a lot to her what you just said, because she put so much of herself into making that happen. And to hear in your words that their life is really hard, but it's going to get better, I think is so important. So before we close this session, Adam, thank you so much for being such a wonderful guest. And like I said, for taking time out of all the other responsibilities that you have in order to join us here. I know for sure that you've inspired everybody who is here. I see Rama, giving you a little heart because it really means a lot to her what you said. And I think all of the answers you gave to my questions and the questions of the audience will keep us thinking for a few days, and hopefully will get us on, up in the morning with more positive energy. So thank you so much for that.
No problem. I really
did you enjoy it? Was it fun for you to be here?
Very fun. I love this experience.
I'm happy to hear that. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone who attended and engaged. And of course, if you continue posting questions on this video, then Adam can come on later and answer them. If you feel like you missed out and you weren't able to be here during the live event, Adam can come back later and answer them. We'll make sure that we respond to you. Of course, the video will be available on LinkedIn, to be rewatched at any moment. Please do share it with other people who need a dose of inspiration, and do follow us across our social networks on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook, or subscribe to our newsletter to make sure you don't miss out on our future interviews. So I look forward to seeing all of you for our next episode, same time next week. Next week will be, the beginning of March, and March has an important date for me, which is Women's Day. And so I will be inviting my co-host from my podcast called Who Run the World, the amazing Rhea Shadid, to come and debate about the impact of the pandemic on gender equality in the workplace. So do tune in next week, and we really look forward to seeing everybody. Adam, once again, thank you so very much for being here with us, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Take care.